Hello, my name is Nate Jackson. Welcome back to my YouTube channel. In this 1 hour video, we're taking you guys to a trip to Oakland Jack London Square where I have to visit my families. But in this 1 hour video, we are railfanning some Oakland trains. But this is the first train I'm filming right now. It's the Intermodal Union Pacific Intermodal Stack train heading eastbound on Martinez Subdivision, heading eastbound in Roseville, California. As soon as I was filming Union Pacific Stack train heading eastbound in Roseville, I got on the train which takes me from Roseville to Oakland Jack London Square where I have to visit my family members. So as soon as I got on the train, I was able to purchase a ticket, but I don't know what to say. But however, when I got on this train, I had a good time filming lots of trains heading eastbound or westbound or northbound or southbound. But this is Union Pacific eastbound intermodal stack train heading eastbound. We have Amtrak train number 6, the eastbound California Zephyr, led by Unit 203 with the paint scheme, Phase 7 paint scheme on the Superliner cars, has just arrived in Martinez Station. Amtrak Capital Corridor train has made its way here in Oakland Jack London Square where I have to film this train here at Broadway and Brocadero. Has been led by F-59 PHI unit leading the Amtrak train, the Capital Corridor heading east on Brocadero, Broadway, and Oakland Jack London Square. Next up, we have Amtrak train number 711. The Gold Runner is making its way here in Oakland Jack London Square. Afterwards, after its journey from Bakersfield, it will be head back over to Oakland Yards where they have to park the train. Led by F-59 unit, heading towards the station of Oakland Jack London Square, where I had to wait for it to see what it looked like. On the Gold Runner, they have the Siemens Venture cars, which is I was interested in and looking forward to riding these things. And they are the best coaches that I ever see in my entire life. So, ladies and gentlemen, here is Amtrak 711, the Gold Runner, heading towards Oakland Jack London Square, here in Oakland, California, on June 11th, 2026 at 11:09 a.m.
Coming on track 1.
Moments later, Amtrak train number 711 has just arrived in Oakland Jack London Square. After its arrival in Jack London Square, the train had decided to head back to the yard where it can be parked here at the Oakland yards. So it's heading back toward the yard here in Oakland Jack London Square, where I had to see led by an MPCU unit, which is shaped like F40PH unit. This is Amtrak Gold Runner 711 heading back to the yard. June 12, 2026. Here, the Amtrak Capital Quarter have been making its way here in Oakland Jack London Square at the street from Oakland Produce and Waterfront, which I have to Railfanning this new spot where I can see Amtrak Capital Quarter trains heading east or west, either on track 1 or track 2 by the Produce and Waterfront here in Oakland Jack London Square in Oakland, California, which is located by the sea. It is one of my favorite places where I have to film some trains as well. And the Produce and Waterfront Street and at the Oakland Street could be used to be my favorite Railfanning spot too as well. But however, the Broadway and the Embarcadero is still and will always be my favorite Railfanning spot. However, Oakland Street in Oakland, California and Oakland Jack London Square will also can be my favorite Railfanning spot as well too, where I can see Amtrak trains heading east or westbound here at the Union Pacific Nile subdivision here at Oakland Street in Oakland Jack London Square. And that's you guys can see right there at the crossing arms. But once the train is about to come or not, whether they come or go, the crossing gates at Oakland Street went down. And as you can see, this is my favorite Railfanning spot as well, where all the Amtrak trains have been heading east to west and bound. And as you guys can see right there, the gray crossing gate arms have been going down because the train is coming. And as you guys can see right there, we got Amtrak Capital Quarter train has been waiting for the other train to come by, making its way here in Oakland Jack London Square. So here's the Broadway, here's the Oakland Street in Oakland, California. And as you guys can see on the other side of Oakland Street where I had to film some trains, here we got the northbound signal, or there we got the southbound signal, or the other signal over there could be the north or whatsoever. I was waiting for a train to come by, but however, it came. So here's the Oakland Street grade crossing here in Oakland, California at Oakland Jack London Square. So here it is, you guys. This grade crossing at Oakland Street. June 13th, 2026. We have Amtrak train 711 is making its way here in Oakland Jack London Square after its journey from Bakersfield, heading straight to Oakland Jack London Square. The Siemens Venture cars that I entered in for the very first time, they were amazing and I enjoyed them. You know, they have the newest seats in new cafe car, or either they don't, but they have some snack area. And because the Siemens Venture cars will soon be on the Gold Runner route, and they might be the shape at the Universal single level cars. And right now, the Gold Runner 711, led by F-59 PHI unit, is making its way here on Track 1 of Union Pacific's Narrow South Division, crossing over either on Track 1 or Track 2 here in Oakland, Jack London Square. Moments later, the Gold Runner 711 now heading back to the Oakland yards on June 13, 2026, led by either an MPC unit with F-59 on the rear, because the Gold Runner now officially heading back to Oakland yards, where the train has to be parked. It will be also known as train number 712, the Gold Runner. After the Gold Runner arrives, we have an Amtrak train Capital Corridor making its way here in Oakland, California. June 13, 2026, Amtrak Capital Corridor has just left the station of Oakland Jack London Square, heading to San Jose, making its next stop at Oakland Causoleum on Track 2 of Union Pacific Now Subdivision on Oakland Street in Oakland, California, at Oakland Jack London Square, right after its departure. After this departure of Amtrak Capital Corridor 733, I was waiting on the other train can cross over to either on Track 1 or Track 2 of Union Pacific Now South Division here at Oakland Street in Oakland, California. But I was able to wait on the train. However, the train decided that it haven't even showed up. However, Oakland Street is used to be my favorite Railfanning spot as well. However, but that moment later, none of the trains have came. I've been waiting for several hours or several minutes. However, the train hasn't even showed up. Even though at Oakland Street, where Amtrak trains or Union Pacific trains could be either manifest or intermodal stack train or auto racks, can head over, is crossing over on Track 3, which is the Union Pacific Now South Division. And however, it used to be one of my favorite Railfanning spots. So, ladies and gentlemen, this is Oakland Street here in Oakland, California. At 3:45 p.m., back at Broadway Street in Embarcadero, my favorite Railfanning spot where I can see the trains again. We have Amtrak train. We have Amtrak Capital Quarter heading over to Oakland Jack London Square. And as the gate went down, the car just went right in front of it, so it decided to back up. Amtrak Capital Quarter heading to the station led by Siemens Chargers. Here at Broadway and Brocadero, Oakland Jack London Square on June 13, 2026. Back over at Oakland Produce and Waterfront at Oakland Street, we have Amtrak train, the Capital Quarter. I don't know what train number it is. However, it's heading from San Jose to Sacramento Station, making its way in Oakland Jack London Square on track 2 of Union Pacific Narrow Subdivision, making its next stop at Oakland Jack London Square, here at Oakland Street in Oakland, California. As soon as Amtrak Capital Quarter train has now officially departed from Oakland Jack London Square, the Capital Quarter is making its next stop at Emeryville Station, and after that, it'll be making its next stop at Berkeley and in Richmond, Martinez, and any other station which goes from San Jose to Sacramento Station. So here's Amtrak train, the Capital Quarter, with the Siemens Chargers on the rear, led by a cab car, making its way here in Oakland Jack London Square, departing Oakland Jack London Square on track 2 of Union Pacific's Nile Subdivision, here in Oakland Jack London Square in Oakland, California. On June 14th, 2026, when I was at Oakland Jack London Square, we have Amtrak train, the Capital Quarter with the Caltrain's locomotive, which the F40PH locomotive painted in the Caltrain's paint scheme, which is trailing on the Capital Quarter, which is certainly very surprised me. And as soon as I learned that, when I was a kid, the F40PH locomotives have been used by Amtrak trains. Like they run the long distance trains. Sometimes they run the Pacific Surfliner trains. By the beginning of 2000, which is by the beginning of 2000, which is 2 decades ago, they have been retired and been replaced by GE Genesis, taking over the long distance trains. And so we got Amtrak Capital Quarter train led by Siemens Chargers with F40PH Caltrain unit trailing. And it has 6 coach cars and made its way here in Oakland Jack London Square. And it used to be one of my favorite cars. Right here, right now. Amtrak train Capital Quarter has made its way here, making its next stop here in Oakland Jack London Square. Moments later, the Amtrak train was on the move again, and I just made my way here at the Oakland Street with my bike. And afterwards, we got Amtrak Capital Quarter train, which making its move again, which is on the move. It's crossing over on track 2 of Union Pacific now subdivision here at Oakland Street, Oakland, California, departing Oakland Jackson Square with F40PH Caltrain unit, leading the 6-car train, the Capital Corridor, heading from Sacramento to San Jose here at Oakland Street in Oakland, California, departing Oakland Jack London Square. The following departure of Amtrak Capital Corridor train has made its way from Sacramento to San Jose. We have Amtrak train number 711, the Gold Runner, has headed back to the yard, left by cab car unit with either the Siemens Charger or the F59PH locomotive. But it seemed to me, it turns out to be an F59PHI locomotive on the rear, leading the train back to the yard here at Broadway and Brocadero Street here in Oakland, California, departing Oakland Jack London Square. We have Amtrak train number 733, the eastbound Capital Corridor, making its way here on track 1, crossing over either on track 1 or track 2 of Union Pacific's now subdivision. About to make its way stop here at Oakland Jack London Square, and as you guys can see the gates going down and the red lights are flashing, while the guys are telling us is that when either he feeds the conductor or not, the cafe card will be open on car number 3, because it used to be one of my favorite cafe cars where I had to go get a snack from. And what surprises me again is that we have another Caltrain unit trailing on another Capital Corridor train. And after the following of Capital Corridor train, we have another Capital Corridor train that's making its way here. Later on, we can see the Capital Corridor train heading here from San Jose to Sacramento. So this is Amtrak train number 733, the Capital Corridor, left by Siemens Chargers, crossing over on track 2 of Union Pacific now subdivision here in Oakland Jack London Square. The Amtrak train number 733 now officially on the move again, crossing over on track 2 of Union Pacific now subdivision at Oakland Street in Oakland Jack London Square, Oakland, California, by the producer and water fountain, where I can see the grade crossing arm going down once again to see Amtrak train number 733 Capital Corridor have been departing Oakland Jack London Square, left by Siemens Charger and Caltrain unit, leading the 6-car train of Capital Corridor train number 733 on track 2 of Union Pacific's Niles subdivision. We have another Amtrak Capital Corridor train that's been heading from San Jose to Sacramento, California. And as you guys can see, we have another Amtrak Capital Corridor train left by cab car, which is the 6th car with Caltrain unit and F-59 PHI units on the rear. However, the cab cars have been leading the 6-car Capital Corridor train here in Oakland Jackson Square on June 14, 2026, here in Oakland, California on June 14, 2026, like around in the morning or in the afternoon, with Caltrain and F-59 PHI with the EMP unit on the rear. As soon as the Capital Corridor train getting ready to part, it's the last train of the day, and the next train we will see more train videos on the next day. We'll have to take some rest and head back to the apartments. And tomorrow I will film more trains and once again. So this is Amtrak train, the Capital Corridor, has departed Oakland Jack London Square.
Oakland College Field, Hayward, Fremont, Santa Clara, Great America, Santa Clara University, final stop, San Jose.
As the announcer has just announced that Amtrak train number 533, the Capital Corridor, has making its way here in Oakland Jack London Square Station here in Oakland, California, where I had led by Siemens Chargers pulling in on track 2, crossing over on track 2. Right in front of me is the Gold Runner, or it could be another Capital Corridor train. But however, this is Amtrak train number 533 pulling in Oakland Jack London Square. And this Amtrak Capital Corridor train has just now officially departing Oakland Jack London Square, making its next stop in Emeryville, Berkeley, Martinez, Sunseal, Vacaville, Davis, and Sacramento. And the rear units on the rear is the Caltrain unit and Siemens Charger on the rear, leading the Capital Corridor train headed towards Sacramento on track 1 of Union Pacific's now subdivisions here in Oakland, California at Oakland Jack London Square Station right before 533 departs to its next stop and departed Oakland Jack London Square as well. And as you guys can see, we got Amtrak train number 533 just now officially departing Oakland Jack London Square, making its next stop at Oakland Catholic. Moments later, after the departure of Amtrak train number 533, the Capital Corridor, making its way to San Jose, I was getting ready to film the next train, but a freight train I've been waiting on to film at this crossing of Oakland Street in Oakland, California, at Oakland Jack London Square. I was gonna film this train, but it never arrived. It just was just backing up and loading up some cars and at the yards where I've been waiting, where I had to see the Amtrak trains and freight trains have been parked at the Oakland yards. And it used to be one of my favorite places where I had to see all the trains where have been parked. And as soon as I done that, right before that, I rode on the Amtrak Capital Quarter trains or the Gold Runner train to see the Oakland yards where they park all the freight trains and Amtrak trains in the Oakland yard. Like they have Gold Runners and Capital Quarters and Amtrak California Zephyr. They used to park at Amtrak Oakland yards and for their departures and going on the next journey. Even though I've still been waiting on the next train to arrive, but still, it never been showed up. However, this grade crossing at Oakland Street in Oakland, California used to be my new favorite Railfanning spot as well. So, it is the best grade crossing that I ever imagined that I've filmed lots of trains. I hope you guys enjoy this grade crossing, and it is the best grade crossing ever. And where I've been waiting for lots of freight trains and film more trains that come and go and here and there and something like that. And however, the freight trains and Amtrak trains crossing over to Oakland Street in Oakland, California. So here's Oakland Street grade crossing at Oakland Jack London Square at Oakland, California by the Produce and the Water Fountain here on June 15, 2026, later this year. Here's my story of how I love Oakland Jack London Square. It's been located at the Alameda County here at the San Francisco Bay Area, where I can see all the waters and all the boats, and took a little tram ride, took the cable car ride at San Francisco, and I had a good time, and used to be one of my favorite rides of all time. What you didn't notice is that the Caltrains ran the trains here at San Francisco Bay Area and the city of San Francisco, which goes from San Francisco to San Jose. On Tuesday, June 16, 2026, we have Union Pacific Manifest train have been crossing over on Track 3, crossing over on Track 2 of Union Pacific now subdivision, making its way back to Oakland Yards or heading to another city, making its way here in Oakland Jack London Square, and where I can see the Union Pacific trains, and they used to be one of my favorite railroad, my freight Class 1 railroads of all times. Even though in the future, the Union Pacific is going to be merging with Norfolk Southern to form a transcontinental railroads, and so that way the business won't go out. So we got the manifest, including the box cars and tankers and all the other manifest trains, like grain trains and tankers, and it's heading over to Oakland Jack London Square, arriving at slowing down at the street running here in Oakland, California. After the departure of Union Pacific Manifest at 2 o'clock p.m., the Capital Corridor train with Caltrains and Siemens Charger on the rear, heading to Sacramento, California, making its next stop at Emeryville, Berkeley, Martinez, Sunseal, Vacaville, Davis, and Sacramento, made its next stop at Oakland Jackson Square. What's really surprising is that we got an Amtrak train 712, which is the Gold Runner, heading to Bakersfield. Amtrak train number 712, the Gold Runner, is now officially departing from Oakland Jack London Square, making its next stop to Emeryville, Richmond, Martinez, Antioch, Stockton, Modesto, Turlock, Merced, Madera, Fresno, Hanford, which is my favorite hometown, and Corcoran, Wasco, and its final stop is Bakersfield, now officially departing from Oakland Jack London Square, crossing over on track 1 of Union Pacific now South Division, making its next stop in Emeryville. The Gold Runner used to be my favorite trains of all time. Last time I took the Gold Runner, which goes from Oakland to Bakersfield, took me to Hanford, and the other, which is the train number 713, the Gold Runner, went from Bakersfield to Oakland, took me from Hanford to Oakland, California, when I was a kid. Here's Amtrak train 712, Gold Runner, departing Oakland Jack London Square. Moments later, after the departure of train number 712, the Gold Runner, we have another Amtrak Capital Corridor making its way here in Oakland Jack London Square, arriving at Oakland Jack London Square Station, here at Broadway Street and Brocadero, here in Oakland, California. And Broadway Street and the Brocadero used to be still and will always be my favorite railfanning spot, because due to me walking down Broadway Street and walking down from Broadway Street, and because around downtown it is one of my favorite places I used to walk to. So here's Amtrak Capital Corridor train making its next stop here at Oakland Station, Oakland Jack London Square. Wednesday, June 17, 2026, at Broadway Street and Embarcadero Street. As soon as I have to get some rest, we have Amtrak Capital Corridor train heading west on track 1 of Union Pacific now South Division, making its next stop at Emeryville Station, heading to Sacramento, California Station, here on Broadway Street in the Brocadero. I always still like Broadway Street because we have to walk down and see the boats and the sea. However, we got Here it is, Amtrak Capital Quarter train heading east on track 1 with Caltrains and Siemens Charger on the rear. After the following departure of Amtrak Capital Quarter train, we have Amtrak Capital Quarter train number 535 making its way here at Oakland station of Oakland Jackson Square and led by Siemens Chargers. Here I am having a good time while I was waiting for another train to come by, and then all of a sudden all I see is Amtrak train number 535 heading towards Oakland Jackson Square station, where I used to film lots of Amtrak trains, including the Coast Starlight and the Gold Runner. However, the Coast Starlight is one of the first Amtrak long distance trains that I saw for the very first time. Ever since when I was a kid, me and my mom were picked up by my dad while we were heading home from Hanford. And then afterwards, we had to see my siblings. And then all of a sudden, and something like that. So we got Amtrak Capital Quarter train number 535 making its way here at Oakland Jackson Square station. After the departure of Amtrak train number 535, the Capital Quarter, we have another Amtrak train number 714, which is the Gold Runner, has making its way here in Oakland Jackson Square, led by an F-59 unit PHI, with either the Siemens Chargers or the MPCU rear unit. Whenever it's leading the Gold Runner departing from Oakland Jackson Square, the MPCU unit is leading the train with F-59 PHI on the rear, crossing over either on Track 1 or Track 2 of Union Pacific's Niles subdivision. But it turns out it crossed over on Track 2 after it made its way here in Oakland Jackson Square. So this is Amtrak train number 714, the Gold Runner. As soon as the Gold Runner getting ready to depart, the MPCU unit, which is shaped like an F-40PH, is now officially leading the Gold Runner, heading to Emeryville, making its next stop to Emeryville, Richmond, Martinez, Antioch, Stockton, Modesto, Turlock, Merced, Madera, Fresno, Hanford, Corcoran, Wasco, and its final destination to Bakersfield. Speaking of Bakersfield, when I was either 7 or 8 years old, I had a good fancy apartment where I had to live with my mom and one of her favorite conductor friends. And I just had a very good time. And ever since I lived in Bakersfield, I went to elementary school there. So here's Amtrak train number 714 departing Oakland Jack London Square. On Thursday, June 18, 2026 at 9:59 a.m. in the morning, we have both Amtrak trains meet each other at Clay Street in Embarcadero here in Oakland, California. Here on Clay Street in Embarcadero, Oakland, California at Oakland Jack London Square. The first train was Amtrak Capital Corridor led by Cab Car meets another Amtrak Capital Corridor train heading east or south on track 2. What really surprises me is that another Amtrak train has been crossed over on track 2 led by F59 PHI unit, which was a very surprise in the slightest, and I felt to myself like, what was going on? Why hasn't Amtrak made a stop at Oakland Jack London Square? Ever since it crossed over on track 2 on street running Clay Street in Embarcadero, it is stopped at Oakland Jack London Square, which was not a very surprise to me at all. Moments later, we have Amtrak train 712, the Gold Runner, making its way from Oakland Yard to Oakland Jack London Square, about to make its journey to Bakersfield, California. It was about to cross over to track 2 after it crossed over from track 1 to track 2 of Union Pacific now subdivision, and it's about to make its next station to Emeryville, Richmond, Martinez, Antioch, Stockton, Modesto, Turlock, Denair, Merced, Madera, Fresno, Hanford, Roscoe, Corcoran, Roscoe, and Bakersfield. Speaking of Hanford, I was born in my hometown, where I had to see all the freight trains rolling by. So here is Amtrak train number 712, the Gold Runner. A while ago, moments later, the Gold Runner was on this move again, and right now it is departing from Oakland Jack London Square station, making its next stop to Emeryville. I really like the Gold Runner because it was rebranded from San Joaquin to Gold Runner. Because the Gold Runner that I rode on was one of my favorite Amtrak routes that went from Bakersfield to either to Sacramento or Oakland. Even though I prefer the Oakland bound Samuel, I prefer the Oakland bound Gold Runner train. And sometimes I prefer Sacramento bound Gold Runner train. And when I was in Hampton, they were heading eastbound or they were heading northbound or southbound, either on track 1 or track 2 of BNSF Bakersfield subdivision, where I have to see the BNSF train heading north or southbound, either on track 1 or track 2 of Stockton/Bakersfield subdivision. So here's Amtrak train number 712, Gold Runner, departing Oakland Jackson Square. After the departure of Amtrak train number 712, the Gold Runner, we have another Amtrak Capital Corridor train. It's making its way here in Oakland, California on Broadway Street in Embarcadero, here in Oakland, California, making its next stop to Oakland Jack London Square. And because where I have to film this is my favorite spot where I have to see all the trains and all the Amtrak trains, including the Union Pacific trains. So we got Capital Corridor making its way on track 1 here on Broadway Street, Embarcadero, in Oakland, California, making its next stop to Oakland Jack London Square. As soon as Amtrak Capital Corridor train is departing from Oakland Jack London Square, heading back to the yard or Sacramento, I was able to film Amtrak train number 711, which is the Gold Runner. But I didn't have time to do it because I had to watch some of my family members. I had to visit them for a long time, because I had to get some rest. But later on, I went back to Oakland Jack London Square to film more trains before I head back home. So here's Amtrak Capital Corridor departing from Oakland Jack London Square, heading either to Oakland Yard or Sacramento, California.
Now arriving.
Moments later, I had to come back again because to see more trains. So anyway, we have Amtrak train number 543, the Capital Corridor, is just now making its way here in Oakland, California at Oakland Jack London Square Station. The reason why I have to come back because I don't have to watch some of my other family members' kids, because the babysitter got them. So here I am filming more trains once again and I have to film lots more train videos before I head home and afterwards. So I decided to have a good time. Train number 715 has been delayed due to train connection and inconvenience. So instead, and as you guys can see, the red lights are flashing, the gates are going down, which means that Amtrak Capital Corridor train number 543 making its way here in Oakland Jack London Square, making its final destination to San Jose, crossing over from track 1 to track 2. It's heading from Sacramento, California to San Jose, now making its way here to Oakland Jack London Square Station.
Now arriving.
Amtrak train number 543 is now on the move again, crossing over on track 2 of Union Pacific, now subdivision, where it's heading from Sacramento, California to San Jose at Oakland Street in Oakland, California, departing from Oakland Jack London Square, left by F59 here, June 18, 2026, in the evening, where I had to film this train at this spot. Produced in Waterfront. In this clip of this video, I was gonna film Union Pacific train heading east, but it didn't bother short at Oakland producing Waterfront. After the departure of 543, we have Amtrak train number 715, the Gold Runner, just now arrived here in Oakland Jack London Square. After the arrival of 715, we have Amtrak train 542, which is the Capital Corridor, now officially arrived here in Oakland Jack London Square, meeting each other at the same time, either on track 2 or track 1. But as you guys can see further, you got Amtrak train 715, which is the Gold Runner, led by Siemens Chargers, now crossover from track 1 to track 1. And then you have to go step back a little bit to see Amtrak train 542, which is the Capital Corridor, about to make its way here in Oakland Jack London Square. The grade crossings and the red lights, the grade crossing lines have been went down and the red lights were flashing because 715, the Gold Runner, just now crossing over from track 1 to track 1, entering Oakland Jack London Square. And as you guys can see the clouds, the weather was very good in the Pacific San Francisco Bay Area. So here it is, Amtrak train number 715, the Gold Runner, making its way here in Oakland Jack London Square. And as you guys can see, Amtrak train 715 pulls right into the station and pulls in further to let all the passengers of Amtrak train 542, the Capital Corridor, heading from San Jose to Sacramento, California, pulls into the station on track 2, left by a cab car with Siemens chargers on the rear, along with the F40 PH unit, which is painted in the cow train scheme. However, as soon as Amtrak 715 pulls in a little bit more further, passengers have crossed over on the other track to board Amtrak train 542, the Capital Corridor. As soon as it pulls into the station on track 2 of Union Pacific's Narrow South Division, here in Oakland, Jack London Square in Oakland, California. Following those trains, we got another Capital Corridor will be taken from San Jose to Auburn, California.
I need your help.
Which I had to take to get me home to Roseville. 2 days later, I took the Auburn train, which is the Capital Corridor train, home to Roseville, California. So here comes Amtrak train 542, pulls into the station of Oakland Jack London Square, here in Oakland, California.
My mom lives in San Jose. My dad.
As Amtrak train Capital Corridor train 542 getting ready to depart. On the rear, it was the Caltrain unit and Siemens chargers, heading from San Jose to Sacramento, California. And I really hope I really enjoy the clip. So as you guys can see, we have another Caltrain unit and Siemens chargers on the rear, with cap car leading the Capital Corridor train heading from San Jose to Sacramento, California, departing Oakland Jack London Square, here in Oakland, California on June 18, 2026, around midnight. Friday, June 19th. Amtrak train 532, the Capital Corridor, has departed from Oakland Jack London Square, heading to Sacramento. And as you guys can see, we have another Amtrak Capital Corridor trains parked in Oakland Station. And it is the only train I have to film for the day. I really had a great time filming more trains here in Oakland Jack London Square. Amtrak trains that come and go in Oakland Jack London Square used to be my favorite hobbies of all time. And as you guys can see, we have Amtrak train 532 departing Oakland Jack London Square, heading either towards Oakland Yards or Sacramento, California Station. I really had a great time filming more trains in Oakland. There's 2 final clips that I filmed. 2 more. Well, guys, my final train that I had to film in Oakland, California, in Oakland Jack London Square, was Amtrak train number 718, the Gold Runner, led by F-59 PHI unit, making its way here in Oakland Jack London Square on June 20th, 2026, which is the day I had to head home. I want to say thank you guys for coming on this journey to Oakland Jack London Square with me. We really hope you guys have been appreciated, and I want to say thank you guys to thank all of my supporters and everyone who watches this video and had a good time coming along with me, riding along to Oakland Jack London Square. And I really hope you guys have been enjoying this video. It is the best 1 hour video that I had to record to put them all together. So if you guys have any questions, please give it a like, comment, and subscribe to my channel for more videos like this. In the final clip, I won't narrate myself riding on the Capitol Quarter train. So like I said, we got Amtrak train number 718 pulling into Oakland Jack London Square. And I hope you guys have enjoyed the video. Please subscribe to my channel for more videos like this. And from here in Oakland Jack London Square, my name is Nate Jackson, and I just wanted to say thank you guys for watching. See you next time right here on my channel. Take care. Peace.